What's going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke, a little bit more subdued episode of Swoop Luke. So let's run that intro, jump straight into it. So just before we do jump straight into it, the usual sort of stuff. Subscribe to my Twitch channel. I'll be streaming this weekend a little bit of FIFA. It's going to be a little bit of fun. That's Swoop Luke. Subscribe to my Instagram where I'm posting, like 1,000,000 times a day. You'll have better interaction with me and stuff over there. That's also Swoop Luke. And finally, subscribe to my TikTok, which is, no surprise here, Swoop Luke. So let's just jump into this game. So it has been a crazy week to be a Collingwood supporter. When isn't it a crazy time to be a Collingwood supporter? We had that insane loss to the Giants. We had the Steel side bottom incident. He's gone. The Howe injury. So we were pretty much on the back foot coming into this game. Some of it through no fault of our own, but some of it through the fault of our own. Anyway, we start this game and it is pouring down at the MCG. Nice, wet day, and you know how much we cannot play in the wet. You can just look at the prelim last year. We're absolutely shocking in the wet. We used to be one of the best wet weather sides in the competition, and now we're probably the worst wet weather side in the competition. Anyway, we came out, we kicked the first 3 goals, and we made it look like we were playing football like it was a 30-degree day in perfect conditions because we were just so silky, handballing, hitting targets, marking the ball, kicking, and it was just Stevenson kicked 2 goals in that first quarter, and I thought, oh my god, here we go. This is exactly what we need. The boys have found motivation, they've come out, head over the ball, doing all this attacking and stuff. We go 3 goals up, and I'm thinking, sweet, this is a 40, 50-point win. Essendon aren't setting the world on fire despite their 2 wins, 1 loss coming into this game. And then, just like an avalanche, it all went downhill from there. Essendon get 3 really easy goals to end that first quarter, and then scores a tide. We don't score another goal until the 4th quarter. So put this through your mind. We don't score another goal, not in the second, not in the third. We don't score a goal till the 4th quarter when the game is already, how's it going? It's already done. The fat lady, she be singing already. And we do this thing where it's like, you know what, let's have a good first quarter, not kick a goal for 2 quarters, and then let's try and kick 8 goals in the last quarter for a magical comeback. And it just doesn't happen like that. It's not a Disney story. We're not, a princess trapped in a castle. It's just, we're Collingwood. This is just a typical Collingwood thing to do, especially this season. I think everyone lowered their colours tonight. Maybe bar a few players, everyone lowered their colours tonight. We got smashed in the tackles, smashed in our pressure inside 50, lots of turnovers. If you just looked at the stat sheet right now, you'd think, oh my god, Brodie Grundy, 100 and whatever it was, 20 fantasy points, 40-something hitouts. Man, he smashed the game. You watch the game, Phillips dominated him. Yes, Grundy got, I think it was like 47 hitouts or something, but they smashed us in the clearances, and this is just a classic. This has just been a classic Collingwood tale for season 2020, not winning the clearances with the most dominant ruckman in the competition. Well, you know what? Probably not the most dominant ruckman anymore in the competition. So, likes. There was a little bit to like. Look, Jaden Stevenson, first quarter specialist. This probably find its way into my dislikes as well. 2 goals in that first quarter, provided a really good target for us. He's kind of coming into his own, but I love him as a player. Looks like a good dude as well. But yeah, he is that forward target that we needed yesterday. He did provide that in the first quarter. Another thing that I liked, Josh Dacos just keeps getting better and better and better and better, and I love him for it. He did find himself off the half-back line when Buckley and the coaches were trying to change a few things around, and I actually don't mind him off the half-back line, but But I do not want him on the half-back line ever. Maybe during the game, switch him up, fine. But we've got Quaynor, Shaz, Bruzzy can play off there, Crisp as well. So Dacos doesn't find himself on the half-back line for the majority of the game. Maybe to switch it up a little bit, but not for the majority of the game. But in saying that, I did like Dacos' game, and you guys voted him man of the match on my Instagram, which is, props to you. Thank you for doing that. Another thing that I like, Braden Maynard did play really well. He played on Tip and Woody, and he played on Jake Stringer for a little bit. Yes, Stringer kicked 3, Tip and Woody kicked 2. Not necessarily while they were on Maynard, but Maynard is one of those players that just puts his head over the ball. We could be 100 points up, we could be 100 points down, but he never drops his head, and he's just always going at 100%, and that's exactly what you want from all your players, and something that not a lot of players did last night. The last thing that I did like seeing Shaz back taking some marks. Did like seeing Varco out there despite his inefficiency, and I did like seeing Ads out there back in the midfield despite his 40% disposal efficiency. But seeing guys come back from injury is just always a blessing. Dislikes. Where can we start with dislikes? The game itself, shocking. The game was absolutely insane in the way that we played like that for 10 minutes and then we come out and put absolutely rubbish up for 2.5 quarters. Okay, there was that fight back in the last quarter, but that's too little too late. That's just to look respectable on the scoreboard. There was a point where we were only down by 3 or 4 points in that last quarter with 6 or 8 minutes to go, and then we just didn't do anything with it. So that says something about the team and their mentality. I feel like we were a bus yesterday because there were a lot of passengers in our side yesterday. You know me, Swoopers. I don't like signalling players out unless they make something stupidly dumb, or I don't like, going off at players or whatever like that. But, it has to be said when it's said. Our forward line is a fucking shambles. Excuse my French, pardon la France, but our forward line is a fucking shambles. We can't find the ball. We can't... The avenues to goal dry up after the first quarter. What the hell's the point? What the hell's the point of a forward line if they're not going to kick goals for 2 quarters? Stevenson did good in that first quarter. Sweet. Kicked a goal in the last. Cool. Where the hell was he in the last this third and fourth quarter? Same with Elliott. Where is he? Hoskin Elliott, they're playing him in a stupid position. Tom Phillips as a half forward, I don't like. He's one of our best runners in the club. Chuck him on the wing. They put Varco in the half forward when he was making too many mistakes in the back line. Mason Cox... Mason Cox. What are you doing to me, Mason? What are you doing to me? Oh man, I think this might be not this might be it for his career. Don't get me wrong. He won't find his way into the team against Hawthorn next week. Look, Mason. He contests. Nah, he doesn't. You know what? He doesn't contest. He doesn't. He runs for the ball. The Essendon defenders, the AFL defenders, they know how to play Mason Cox. The ball comes in long to him. They hold his arms. They hold him. He can't get arms up. Umpires don't see because it's never a one-on-one. It's always in a pack. They're trying to outmark him in a pack. So in that respect, yes, he might only get one hand to it. Yes, he might get no hands to it. Most of the time, he's being held, and the umpires don't see it. But most of the time, he's not being held, and he still can't take a mark. I said before the game on my Instagram, Mason Cox should have been dropped, not because of form, just should have been dropped, and we should have brought in another speedy player like a Josh Thomas or something, because talls don't play well in the wet, especially when they can't take a mark. And I think this comes down to, the selection committee, and to Buckley is just very, very sentimental when it comes to these players. Cox shouldn't have played last night, and you can see why. 2 disposals. you know. And I think 1 mark, maybe 2 marks if he's lucky. But yeah, he shouldn't have played last night. Should have been, because what happens when Cox plays, exactly what happens when Cox plays is that our game plan is, when it's going forward, is to kick it long, kick it high, kick it long, kick it long, kick it long, kick it long. We don't hit those short targets up because we think Cox is just going to be there, taking big marks and stuff, or Brody Mychek, and it just doesn't happen. With Cox out of the team, we look a little bit more settled because we start lowering our eyes and hitting targets, here and there, and opening it up a little bit, which is what we need to see a little bit more of. And just my last thing that I wanted to touch on, there were a lot of players out of position. Did you notice Pendlebury in the second half attending a lot of centre square bounces? No. You know why? Because they chose to play him as a half forward. Our best midfielder, they chose to play as a half forward to give us more avenues to goal. Jordan De Goey as an out-and-out midfielder doesn't work. Varco off the halfback didn't work. He just kept stuffing the ball up, and I doubt he gets another game next week. Putting him into the forward line, that works because that's what he does best. He's a forward, Josh Dacos, one of our better midfielders over the last couple of weeks, off the halfback line, works a little bit, but you want your best ball winners to be winning the ball in the middle and stuff. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. And don't get me started on the ARC system. I will be talking about that in another separate video because I don't have the time nor the energy to go on about it right now. So, I may mention this in my dislike, where the game was lost. We were just played too slow. We didn't play to the conditions. I know you hear that a lot. The team didn't play to the conditions. Like, how do you not play to the conditions? It's 2020. We've got every single news channel tells us the weather. We've got apps. I can check when it's going to rain, how far the rain is, the millimeter of the rain, and you're telling me that we didn't play to the conditions. They should know this. They should know that we don't play well in the wet. We've got to go lower to the ground. What happens in the wet? The ball is at the ground the most. And if you watch that game back, no one, bar maybe Maynard, wanted to put their head over the ball. Everyone wanted to tackle with one hand. Oh, he's gone. I'm not going to run. Everyone was like, can't someone else do it? Can't someone else do it? I don't want to put in the effort. Can't someone else do it? I don't want to put in the effort. And that, you pay all this money for membership and stuff like that, and then for them to put up this insipid performance it's just really, really, really annoying. Another place where the game was lost was the ruck. For the game we had 28 clearances. 10 of them were Grundy just hacking it out of the ruck stoppages. And I'm saying this is a area that we lost it in because Phillips outmuscled Grundy. Sure, he didn't get enough hit-outs and stuff like that, but Grundy has a bit of bodywork onto him and he doesn't compete well. His taps go to Essendon players. Essendon, I think, got about 10 to 15 more clearances than us, even though we were dominant in the ruck. This is becoming a carbon copy of every single game we've been playing in 2020. Smash the hit-outs, lose the clearances. How do you lose a clearance with arguably the best ruckman in the competition and a really good midfield? Pendlebury, Adams, Treloar, Wills is in there. Who else ever goes in there? Elliott, De Goey, whoever else is in there. How do you lose clearances to an Essendon side when they've got Andrew Phillips in there, who has played at 3 other clubs, played what? I think he's won 6 games in his whole career, and he goes there. Sure, he doesn't beat Grundy on the stats, but he beats him on the ground, and that's exactly where it counts. It's just really frustrating. In saying all of this, yes, we're going to stick side by side, but don't come at me or any other Collingwood supporter when we try to, he shouldn't have played, and we try to dissect the game to make us kind of feel a little bit better, to help us vent a little bit. Oh, you're not a true Collingwood supporter because you're saying he's not good or he's not good or side by side only when we win, side by side only when we win. Dude, settle the fuck down, man. Like, side by side all the way. But I'm allowed to voice my opinion. You're allowed to voice your opinion. No one should tell you that your opinion is wrong because you only support the wins. You don't support the boys when they lose. Of course we support the boys when we lose. We're just trying to justify why we lost, you know. Everyone just needs to chill the fuck out. Yeah, we got smashed, you know. And it's shocking, something that shouldn't have happened, but it's happened. All we can do now is dissect and think of who's coming in and who's coming out of the side and just go from there. It hurts, and it's going to hurt the players, you'd think. But on to the next week. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there because I could go on for another 12 hours. But be sure to wait for my 5 Things We Learned video, which is a new series I'm doing, which I absolutely adore this series. But like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers. See you later.